Breaking news has sent shockwaves through WWE. Triple H, a pillar of the company for nearly 3 decades, has been fired. That's right, the man who took over creative control after Vince McMahon's exit, the man who ushered WWE into a new era, is officially out. And now, speculation is swirling about what's next for the company. This move, as shocking as it is, was actually predicted by former WWE head writer Vince Russo. If you've been keeping up with Wrestling Buzz, you might have heard Russo's bold claim on his podcast, The Brand. He suggested that Triple H's time with WWE was ticking down, hinting that he could be replaced by someone with major Hollywood ties, none other than The Rock's close friend and former WWE head writer, Brian Gewirtz. Russo didn't hold back. "I think Hunter will be gone from WWE in 2025, he said recently. "The lawsuits piling up against WWE are only the beginning, and there's a lot more to come." Ari Emanuel, who heads TKO, has The Rock on the board. They have a long-standing friendship and working relationship. And if you've got The Rock, why keep Triple H? The Rock has a list of people he'd want to bring in, and you can bet Brian Gewirtz is right at the top. Think about that. Brian Gewirtz, who worked with WWE's creative team for years, might be making a comeback. The Rock's influence on WWE could shape the company in ways fans have only dreamed of. If The Rock starts calling the shots, even indirectly, it could mean fresh, Hollywood-caliber storylines, and maybe a creative team that leans heavily on the star power of the People's Champion. But of course, all of this comes at a price, and it seems that price was Triple H's position in WWE. But Russo wasn't the only one ringing alarm bells. Lee Cole, brother of former WWE ring boy Tom Cole, added fuel to the fire on his own podcast, Wrestling with the Devil. Lee speculated that TKO's management would want to eliminate anyone still connected to Vince McMahon's era, which included names like Bruce Pritchard and, of course, Triple H. Lee shared, "Mark my words, Nick Khan will be taking full control soon. He already has a ton of influence, but he's about to be in charge completely. And when that happens, the old guard, like Pritchard and Triple H, will be gone. They're not going to risk keeping people who are tied to all these lawsuits. Ken, they have stockholders to answer to." This move is nothing short of historic. Triple H wasn't just any executive. He was the chief content officer, the mind behind the WWE we see today, and one of the most iconic in-ring performers the company has ever had. He fought his way from the locker room to the boardroom, taking WWE to new creative heights. But it seems his reign behind the scenes has officially ended. Now, fans can only speculate on what this means for WWE's future. Will The Rock's influence reshape the company? Could Brian Gewirtz return and bring an entirely new vision? And what about Nick Khan's rumored plans to overhaul the management team? WWE is clearly on the brink of a major transformation, and Triple H's exit could just be the beginning. So what does this mean for WWE fans? Change, and probably a lot of it. From the direction of storylines to the way WWE is run behind the scenes, this firing could be the spark that sets off a wave of adjustments. We're talking about a company poised to embrace fresh ideas, possibly even some Hollywood-style flair if The Rock's influence grows. Let's not forget, Triple H's departure also leaves some massive shoes to fill. Whether it's Brian Gewirtz or someone else, WWE will need a leader with both wrestling know-how and an understanding of today's entertainment industry. And if The Rock and Nick Khan have their way, we might be seeing a more modern, mainstream WWE than ever before. Here at WWE Insider Report, we're following every twist and turn. With Triple H out, there's no telling what might come next. But one thing is clear, WWE is gearing up for a whole new era. Could this firing be the beginning of a revolutionary shift in WWE? Only time will tell. In a highly anticipated showdown on WWE SmackDown, we might be witnessing a seismic shift in the dynamics of the Bloodline. And it's all coming down to a brewing conflict between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Tonight, the WWE Universe is gearing up for a tense family discussion, and there's a lot of speculation swirling around that Roman Reigns could be preparing to kick Jey Uso out of the OG Bloodline for one big reason. Let's dive in and explore this potential twist. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Jey Uso, who's had his fair share of ups and downs within the Bloodline, has reached out to his old ally Sami Zayn, inviting him to this family conversation. Sami, a former member of the faction, hasn't confirmed his attendance. But if there's one thing we know about Sami, it's that he's likely to show up to shake things up. And tonight, it might just be Jey's connection with Sami that pushes Roman Reigns over the edge. Why? Well, we've all seen the tension building up over recent weeks. Jey's bond with Sami Zayn has been a point of conflict ever since Sami's reintroduction into the Bloodline story. Despite Roman's clear frustration with Sami, especially after the events of Crown Jewel, Jey seems to be siding with his former teammate. On Raw, Jey Uso made it crystal clear that neither he nor Roman wants Sami involved. Yet, if Jey continues to vouch for Sami during this discussion, it could be the tipping point. Roman may see it as the ultimate betrayal, a family member putting an outsider's interests over the loyalty of the Bloodline. But this potential fallout has deeper layers. Roman Reigns, the head of the table, has always maintained strict control over the loyalty within his faction. Any member that challenges his authority or questions his decisions risks being cast out. For Jey, his continued support for Sami could be viewed as a direct affront to Roman's leadership. Fans are already buzzing about the possibility that Roman will draw the line and decide to remove Jey from the Bloodline once and for all. And if that happens, it'll be one of the most shocking turns we've seen in WWE in a long time. Think about it. Kicking Jey out of the Bloodline wouldn't just be about maintaining control. For Roman, it's about sending a message to everyone that loyalty is everything, and siding with someone outside the family is simply unacceptable. Roman might feel that Jey's connection to Sami is a liability that could tear the faction apart from the inside. And if Roman feels that strongly about this, he's not going to hesitate to make a move that will protect his position and authority, no matter how ruthless it may seem. Now, here's where things get even juicier. Rumors are swirling that if Jey is kicked out, Roman may soon bring in a new family member to keep the Bloodline strong and united. Word has it that Lance Anoa'i, another member of the Anoa'i family, is close to making his WWE debut. Reports suggest that he's already signed with WWE, but has been sidelined by an injury. If Lance recovers in time, he might be stepping into the ring as the newest addition to the Bloodline. If you follow Roman's history, he's already had Lance's back in the past. Fans will remember that epic Raw moment when Roman saved Lance from a brutal beatdown by Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon. Bringing Lance into the fold would not only reinforce Roman's power, but also further strengthen the family ties in the faction. With Lance potentially joining forces, Roman's bloodline could become even more unstoppable. And given his history with Roman, there's little doubt that Lance would align himself with the head of the table, showing ultimate loyalty and avoiding any hint of the rebellious streak we've seen from Jey. So, we're left with two questions that could define tonight's SmackDown and the future of the Bloodline. Will Roman Reigns actually kick Jey Uso out of the Bloodline? And if he does, will Lance Anoa'i step in to take his place, creating a new chapter for this already intense family saga? There's only one way to find out. Tune into SmackDown tonight and see how this high-stakes family drama unfolds. The Bloodline saga is far from over, and WWE fans are in for an unforgettable ride. Stay with us here at WWE Insider Report for all the latest updates on the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and everything else happening in WWE's world. We'll be following this explosive story every step of the way, so don't miss out. You won't want to miss a single twist or turn.